This conference will now be recorded.
You're on.
Good evening. I would like to call the City of Escalon Planning Commission meeting of December 13th, 2022 to order. Would you please join us in a flag salute? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we please have a roll call?
Commissioners Castellanos?
Here.
Willis?
Here.
Engel?
Here.
Vice Chair Sarkozy?
Here.
Chair Stroman?
Here. Please note that all cell phones, pagers, or similar devices need to be set on silent or vibrate mode or turned off unless you're an on-duty emergency responder. Our first item on the agenda is a consent calendar. Items are considered routine in nature and will be approved with one motion. The first item is to approve the minutes from the meeting of November 15th, 2022. Or do we have a motion?
I'll move that we approve the minutes from November 15th.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second. All those in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Chair Stroman,
Yes, ma'am.
at this time, staff would like to request that we move items number 4 and 5 up before the public hearing, which is the nomination of chair and vice. A planning committee, just get that going,
Okay.
just in case.
So under administrative matters, item number 4, nominate and select commission chair for fiscal year 2022-2023.
Everyone may be aware, Chair Stroman and Commissioner Engel have been elected to the seats of the City Council, and they will be administer their oath of offices next Monday, December 19th. And so that will temporarily leave us with a planning commission of 3 until we put out for application and take an application and conduct interviews. For your next meeting, we want to make sure we have a chair and vice chair in place so that you guys are able to move forward and we don't run into any hiccups, besides only having the 3 members at that time. So thank you very much.
So can I ask a question on this item?
Sure.
Should Commissioner Engel and myself excuse ourselves or abstain from voting on this, or how should that work?
No, you don't have to. It's not a conflict in the traditional sense because you're, well able to speak on the qualifications of your fellow commissioners, and all you're doing is selecting your successors. So you can participate in the discussion, and the way that I would suggest doing it is having a brief discussion, seeing if anybody wants it, doesn't, sort of clears the field a little bit if possible, and then, you can take nominations and then take them each in turn, or if there's just one nomination for each position, we can do it that way.
Choice.
Any discussion? Chair?
I think this gentleman here should be the chair for 22-23.
Is that a motion or a discussion?
I think he's well qualified to run this committee. So it's a discussion. Anybody else disagree? Barb?
I'll second.
Well, it'll be a nomination.
Okay. Vice Chair Sarkozy to be the commission chair for fiscal year 2022-2023. We have a second. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, so next item is nominate and select commission vice chair for fiscal year 2022-2023. Any comments? Let's start at this end.
Well, finished chair. Steve, how do you feel about being vice chair?
Do I have a choice?
Well, you can say I don't want Okay. Unless there's any opposition. Barb, you good with that?
I'm good with that. I'll second the nomination.
All right, so we have a nomination and a second for Steve Castellanos for the Planning Commission Vice Chair position for fiscal year 2022-2023. Please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Congratulations. Future notification from city staff. Please feel free to apply for those positions. They're open to any City of Escalon residents, and it's always good to get new, fresh ideas on the planning commission. So, thank you.
Opening coming of Recreation Commission.
Feel free to apply, get involved in future. All right. Now, first item is public hearing. Application 22-773, Site and Architecture and Conditional Use Permit, southeast corner of McHenry Avenue and Countrywood Lane, Escalon, APN 22-320-230-000.
Hi, Chair, I would, due to my property proximity to this, this agenda item, I'll need to excuse myself for this and number 3 as well.
Sounds good. Well, thanks for showing up for 5 minutes. Taking on a chair job. Just for the general public and before we get into the staff report, I wish to disclose that last week or late last week on Friday when the agenda was published, I asked staff to pose a number of questions to the applicant. Those questions were answered to the Planning Commission. They are as part of the public record, so the general public has those questions. This was intended for me to gather information. I mean, it's a lot of information to read in this packet, and so, but those questions have no they didn't give me a notion or won't bias my decision or won't prevent me from making a fair and impartial decision. I just want the general public to know that I reached out to staff to ask the applicant some questions ahead of time. And did everybody receive a copy of those questions?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, they are attached in the back of your agendas.
So
And if you didn't get an agenda, they're available on the desk in the lobby.
So my questions, if you have them, my questions that I asked were in black. The questions the red were the responses from the applicant. And then there was some additional input that was needed on some of those from the city engineer, and the city comments are in blue. So I think everybody has a copy of them. Should be in the back. All right.
Thank you, Chair.
Sure.
Item number 2 on the agenda tonight. The city received a site and architecture and conditional use permit application 1,409 square foot McDonald's quick serve restaurant on the 1.9 acre commercial parcel at the southeast corner of McHenry Avenue and Countrywood Lane. The proposed development would occupy 1.4 acres of the total 1.9 acre lot. The property owner has separately filed for a tentative parcel map. That's the next item on the agenda, Project 22772, to split the existing lot into proposed parcel 1, which McDonald's is requesting to develop, and then remaining proposed parcel 2. This site is currently vacant, has a general plan land use designation of commercial, and it's zoned C2 community commercial. The applicant has indicated that this restaurant would most likely not be open 24 hours a day, like a highway location would be. However, restaurant hours are typically determined by the franchisee, who's not yet been selected. Some statistics on the project. The proposed lot size is 1.24 acres, and in the C2 zone, there is no minimum lot size required. The setbacks to the building, to the property line are listed below. There is some information in the staff report that is going to be a little bit different than proposed. In that additional information after publication, there is a revised site plan. So the staff report was written to the original site plan. So I've gone through and updated some data that I'll give you verbally. The east setback to the building, let me go over here. And I'm going to zoom in for you. In the original site plan, the one that's published in the agenda, there is additional parking spaces along this exit corridor here. After the agenda was published, the applicant had a revised site plan which shortened the length of the lot. They eliminated those parking spaces and moved the line over. And so this, from this building east to the property line, is a little bit shorter because those parking stalls were removed. So parcel 1 had shrunk a little bit, proposed parcel 2, the remainder increased a little bit.
How many feet short? What's the difference?
Parking spaces are about 19 feet. I think it's just a little bit less than that, so probably 15 to 19 feet shorter.
Is the applicant?
The applicant's in the audience, so during public comment, you
can
could ask
address
that.
Okay.
So one project statistic that changed was that east side setback. Let me go back over here, this one. Parking, because they eliminated those parking spaces on the revised site plan, it's going to be 45 parking spaces. Only 18 were required. The building height is going to be about 20 feet tall, which is less than the 75 that is allowed in the C2 zone. Building mass, 4,409 square feet. The C2 allows 3,000. We're proposing about 18.5% of the lot be landscaped, and the C2 minimum is 10%. As I mentioned, this project consists of constructing a new McDonald's quick serve restaurant with drive-through on the new proposed lot. The restaurant pad will be located to the northwest. I'm going to switch over to the site plan. That might be more helpful. The parking lot will be located on the south sides of the building, and landscaping is provided throughout the site. The interior restaurant will feature a dining area with seating for approximately 50 counter, kitchen area, drive-through payment pickup windows, and restrooms. Vehicle access to the site is available off of McHenry Avenue and Countrywood Lane. The drive-through entrance begins on the east side of the building, circles through the north and west sides of the building, and exits closest to McHenry Avenue. The drive-through features 2 queuing lanes to accommodate the anticipated demand for the restaurant. Entering the queue from the south, patrons reach a menu board on the east side of the building. Awning structures will shelter the menu boards and drive-through ordering areas. After placing orders, the queuing lanes converge. A pay window and an order pickup window are on the north side of the building. The drive-through configuration maximizes capacity of the drive-through facility, minimizing the number of cars lining up in the adjacent parking lot. The design of the building will provide a new accessible path of travel from McHenry to the front of the building. Site lighting is building walls as well as, and on a revised, on a that we received, this is in your additional documents at the back of the agenda, there are 8 proposed site lights. I want that one. This says the applicant will be required to submit a photometric analysis. They did provide a draft. It will get reviewed again at final building. Parking and traffic, restaurant, the required number of parking spaces for a restaurant is based on the number of seats within the restaurant. Based on the proposed seating, interior seats, 1 parking space is required for every 3 seats, so 18 on-site parking spaces are required. Applicant 45 parking spaces. Of the 45 provided parking spaces, 2 will be ADA stalls located at the front entrance of the building. 8 are EV charging capable stalls, and 9 are designated for low emitting, fuel efficient, or carpool vehicles. The parking stalls proposed are the typical size, 9 feet by 19 feet in size. The site also provides bike lockers as well as a U-rack on the west side of the building, required to accommodate at least 6 bicycles. Primary access to the site is from McHenry Avenue, which is a county-designated highway and city-designated arterial street that consists of 4 lanes and a center 2-way turn lane. McHenry Avenue has an approximate capacity of 30,000 vehicles a day. The applicant estimates approximately 776 vehicle trips per day, which accounts for less than 3% of McHenry's total capacity. A secondary ingress-egress is provided off Countrywood Lane, which is a 2-lane collector street with an approximate capacity of 2,000 vehicles per day. Typically, drivers will elect to use the driveway with the least amount of congestion, which in most cases will be McHenry Avenue. The C2 zone requires a minimum 10% of the net lot be landscaped. Proposed site proposes 18% landscaping. It contains a mixture of trees, shrubs, ground cover. Landscape plan will be required to conform to State of California WELO requirements, which is low water usage. Upon commercial development of the north side of Countrywood Lane, so this is when O'Reilly's Auto, the sidewalk trees were removed and they were replaced with concrete to create the required 8-foot wide sidewalks that front commercial developments. Additionally, in an effort to alleviate potential to sidewalks from tree, community development and public works departments, we reduce trees in the sidewalk and instead emphasize in the street frontage landscaping of new development. Let me go. So when O'Reilly's developed over here, sidewalk on the side were also located on the other side. The trees were removed and that was filled in with concrete to make an 8-foot sidewalk. The original plan was the same would be done to the other side to maintain 8-foot sidewalks along commercial. That's a development standard in the municipal code. However, because of the residential across the lane, these trees in the sidewalk, in addition to the trees planted in the commercial landscaping strip here to the street off of Countrywood Lane. So that would be something to discuss, whether to keep the street roof and large windows along McHenry Avenue in the southern elevation. The store takes on a contemporary design. The one-story building stands approximately 20 feet tall, minimizing visual impact to surrounding areas. Generally, the building's rectangular in shape. Applicant has indicated signage will be submitted by a sign company as a deferred submittal. If it meets the municipal code, then it's processed at staff level. If it needs enhanced signage, then it would come before Planning Commission at a later date. This project qualifies for Class 3 and Class 32 exemption according to the California Environmental Quality Act. Class 3 applies in urban areas, which is developed cities, a building not exceeding 10,000 square feet, which this is 4,409. And a Class 30 exemption applies to infill developments, project sites or less than 5 acres. Therefore, staff recommends Planning Commission determine the project to be exempt from CEQA. In regards to this, if Planning Commission warrants it to be approved, it needs site and architecture approval, which is Municipal Code Section 17.54020. Planning Commission would need to make the following findings to the application. that the use or activities allowed use within the zoning district of the project site, and according to the Escalon Municipal Code, fast food are allowed in the C2 zone. Planning Commission, that the site with the requirements of the zoning general plan. City of Escalon Planning Commission would